Hey, what's up? I'm here with the guys in Volbeat. Guys, what's up? Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Right off the bat, we were actually just talking before we hit record. My favorite song on the record is Evelyn, which features the dude from Napalm Death. And you were just saying that it's one of those songs that it really angers some people, and some people it really makes happy.
Yeah, you know, it's a song that some people love and some people hate, and it's nice, you know, when you do an album on a major label and stuff, that you can still write a song that some fans and some reporters and stuff like kind of think makes the album way better, and some is like, oh, that fucking ruins everything. You know, it's just awesome that you can actually push people's feelings a little bit.
What does it do for you guys as a band, you know, when you're playing and in the studio and you have the guy from Napalm Death in there? You know what I mean? He's on the track with you. Does that make you guys, you know, does that make John drum faster, or like, you know?
Not really, because I wasn't there when he was there.
Ah, okay.
But,
did you guys mail it, sort of back and forth? Or?
No, he visited the studio.
He came to the studio.
He flew in. They were on tour. You know, they were always on tour.
Yeah.
They got to work real hard.
It's crazy that they're still going. Like.
Yeah, but you know, that's what they do. They love to do it. You know, and he flew in on an off day. I picked him up actually myself in the airport and like drove an hour and a half down to the studio. We're like in the middle of nowhere, you know. Recording, and then he was there, but the way we recorded, like, it's layers, so John does the drums, and then at that point he was actually back home, so we were doing guitars, and then Barney came in. But it was a great feeling, you know. Normally when you sing, you're like in a booth where everything is like sounds right and everything, and you know, no external noise or anything. But Barney is like, I want like a regular live mic, like an SM58, you know, and I just want to stand in the studio because I want to like. It's so much about body as well, you know. So he wanted to have that feeling of like being able to move and having people around him. So we were like sitting there drinking our coffee, and the song was blasting out the speakers, and he was just shouting, and like, you know, how his body is working when he's singing, you know. It was awesome. We were like, fuck, we were blown away.
That's pretty awesome. I'm just picturing you guys quietly enjoying coffee as the singer from Napalm Death rips it. I guess, you know, the album, the first thing, you know, that when you hear it is that it's all over the place. And I guess that's something for you guys. It's been pretty standard. I mean, you get the metal stuff like we're talking about, but there's like the social D-punk stuff. There's the poppy, sort of catchy choruses. There's the rock and roll stuff. I guess let's start at the metal. When did you guys get into metal? It seems to be sort of the basis of the band. It kind of ties it all together, I think. And then we'll talk about the other genres later. But
yeah, well, me and Michael used to play real metal, if you want to call it that.
Death metal, right?
Death metal. His old band started off as some sort of black death metal kind of band, and then he started to add little elements, so it became more in the end like a thrash band, regular thrash band actually. But that's where we came from when we started the band, was based in the metal roots. But his vision, I think, from the beginning was that, yeah, we should have the metal riff, but also some vocal lines instead of just shouting and screaming, and wanted the big chorus and wanted to add other elements in it. When I heard the first few ideas he had, my immediate thought was, oh, this sounds like old Black Sabbath. And then he came with the second song, and it was like, this is not Black Sabbath. This is Social Distortion.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got Black Sabbath, we got Social Distortion. Then he came with the third song. It was like, okay, this is something completely different. I have no idea what this is, but that's how it started. You know, he just took every element of stuff that he liked, and I added my bits, and there you go.
Is that what attracted you guys to it? You know, because you get the metal world, you know, and when you're younger too, it's like, I'm only going to listen to people screaming. It's going to be heavy all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, especially from where you guys are from, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a huge scene there. So was that sort of, you know, to be able to sort of step out and not?
I think that was what Michael grew tired of in his old band, you know, because they were actually experimenting with bringing a little bit more rock and roll and stuff into it on some of the later albums. But you know how close-minded people are.
Yeah.
As you said it yourself, you know, people like
I was one of those
genre
people,
fascists. You know, they're like, you know, It's like it gotta be that, and I'm more like from the punk rock scene, but it's the same thing going on, you know.
Yeah, totally.
You gotta be true, and if you're like doing something that's a little bit different than what you're allowed to do, it's like, oh, it's like the end of the world. And I just think Michael grew a little bit tired of that and wanted adding some of those punk rock elements that you weren't allowed to add because punk rock and metal are like, it's not, but it at one point in your life, it's like it's two different scenes, you know.
Yeah.
And wanting to add these 50s inspired rock and roll things, you know, like songs, not just like riffing, but actually writing songs, and you're not really allowed to do that either. So you know, it's probably like let's do a totally new band and just not call it metal. We were really, you know,
we have never called ourselves.
We're not a metal band. That's, you know, and when people ask what sort of what do you guys play, we're like, we play music, because at least then we don't limit ourselves too much, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe rock and roll or rock music,
rock and roll,
but we don't even want to call ourselves a hard rock band. Yeah. Because every once in a while we're not.
Well, you get a song like "Fallen" where, you know, it's a pop song. You know, it's a catchy pop song. Is it harder to write the riffy stuff or the punky stuff or the poppy stuff?
No, I think the easiest thing for Michael to write is the metal stuff.
Yeah.
He can do that standing on one leg sleeping, you know. The song from the new album, Who They Are, was written in like 10 minutes or something like that, because I said to him at some point when we were rehearsing the songs for this album, the new album, I said to him, you know, we need at least one more song that's based on the riff. Not vocal lines, melody lines, just a riffy kind of song. He's like, nah, I don't think, no, I want the big, I want the melody, I want the vocal. I said, sure, but we need something that's based on the guitar riff. So he said, okay, and next day he came in and said, I got it. And that became Who They Are. It took him like 10 minutes to write that song. So I think that's the easiest part for him to do, is just do the metal kind of songs. He spends a lot more time on stuff like Fallen and Heaven or Hell.
Yeah, but that might also be more personal songs, so therefore you got a different way of working with it. I don't know.
Talk about some of the themes on the record. I mean, it ties to the last record. Is that correct? Can you explain that just a little bit?
Yeah, you know, the last album was called Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood, and like half of the album was combined like lyrically and some theme and with the artwork and everything. Again, we're strict about not saying it's not a concept album, because like it's only half of the songs actually, but it's a natural thing. It's been like that before, that you write a song and then the whole thing happening continues in another song, maybe on a different album. So this time it was just like there was like this story going on. We were like, it's not done. So we were like talking, should we write a book, but we don't know how to, you know, should we do a movie? We don't got the money to do that, you know. and it's like, what you want to do a drawing, you know? It's like, and it was just a natural thing, I guess, you know, starting to write lyrics for the new album. You know, they got an unfinished story, and you're like, what the fuck are we gonna write about? You know? So it's like, what about ending that story? It's like it's there. So there's like 2 songs, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's 4 songs actually, isn't it? Or is it 2 songs?
I guess it's only 2. I'm not sure. Sometimes I'm not sure about it, you know.
See, we don't even know.
You know, but that kind of concludes that, or you revisit that story, and of course takes, like any good book or any good movie, of course the ending is totally different from what you expected.
I have to ask about Megadeth and, well, the Big Four, I guess. I mean, you're on tour with the Damn Things, which is some of the guys in Anthrax.
Oh, that's where they're from.
Yeah.
We thought we've seen those guys.
I've seen those guys
we
before.
know. But I mean, you know, you guys, you know, you mentioned that you're not a metal band, a solely metal band, but I get the impression that the metal community has accepted you guys.
Yeah.
Was it weird? Were some people like, what are these guys doing? You know, when the country stuff kind of comes out?
Some people, of course, think that.
What's the have you ever had like some weird reactions from people, like at your shows?
Well, basically when we toured with Metallica.
Yeah.
You know, because that's, you know, you got a diehard audience.
It's a hard crowd.
That's those.
Actually, they seem to be pretty open-minded, but of course there are some people that are really close-minded, and that's just you playing your songs, and there's a few guys like, "Boo, get off stage!" And one night, Jon got a sandwich in the back of his head, like some idiot throwing that at him. You know,
that's what happens.
That's reactions, but you know, of course, those guys are going to see Metallica, and if they're really into like the harder stuff Metallica does, you know, they're like, what's this crap, you know? But I guess they'd do it to any band anyway.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, especially the Metallica crew, you know, they should talk for themselves, but I'm gonna quote them anyway. You know, they were like, oh, it's nice to have a band that got songs on it, because they're listening to it all like sound checks, and they're in the arena while the support bands are playing, and you know, they were like, oh, it's because they're old guys. They've been around since like some of them like 20 years with Metallica. And like, oh, it's nice just to have a band playing songs.
Well, and I mean, Metallica did that too with their music as well, right?
Yeah. And they got such a beating for it.
Totally.
But they've. It's kind of funny, especially here in America, of course, that a lot of the people who were at those Metallica shows are now coming to our shows. So we must have done something right. Even though, like Thomas said, you could every night hear somebody go, "Oh, you!" and "Boo, get off the stage," and all that. It's like, yeah, but you still have to listen for 20 more minutes.
And we're like, and we get free tickets for all shows, and we get to meet the guys, and we don't care. We're up here, you're down there. So.
And there were a lot of people when we walked off the stage who were shouting, "What's the name of the band? What's the name of the band?" So, and a lot of these people are showing up at our shows. We can see them.
And getting back to us, like really, like, you know, because they're diehard Metallica fans, and they're like, you know, you're the best thing we ever ran into since Metallica, you know, and that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Especially when they're diehard fans of something else, you know.
Yeah.
But of course, we're also ripping off some of Metallica's ideas. You know? So it's a natural thing.
Whatever. I have to ask about, you know, being huge in Denmark and the success you guys have achieved there. To come over here and to be in that situation where you're opening for Metallica or you're in the opening position, what does that do for you guys? Is it sort of does it remind you of the olden days, you know, or does it?
No, but we never really did that much supporting actually. No. So it was more like playing small venues and then growing like organically. Yeah.
Do you like sort of coming over here and not being as popular, or is it frustrating to you guys?
We are still in some sort of build-up phase in America and Canada, so for us it's just another challenge, you know. And I mean, we played a tour in August last year where the capacity was like what 500 to 800. I think. And
now it's 800 to 1500.
Now it's 800 to 1500.
So
it's grown a bit.
It's good.
Since then. But
what does that do for you guys as musicians? Does it keep it refreshing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know. It's you know it kind of you're kind of forced to perform a little bit better. I think, you know, when you get 10,000 people that bought the tickets to see your show, you know, it's not like you don't deliver, but it's just a different thing. Here you're like, all right, we really got to show these people, you know, we got to like convince them to go tell all their friends to go next time. You know? So it's really I think it's cool, and it's fun for us to. It's a little bit like a travel back in time. To come here, like people are really enthusiastic about it, and they're like, you know, people are driving, I don't know, for days to get that, at least hours to go to the show, and people are so up in the air about it, and that's cool for us, you know, that things seem a little bit like the feeling we had back in Europe when things started growing, you know, that more and more people talk and people get more and more crazy about it. That's cool. Actually, and there's a good energy going on, especially playing those capacities. You know, that you're still interacting with people. You know, when you play in front of 10,000 people, it's a mass of people. Yeah. Or when you play 50 or 100,000, which is also done on festivals and stuff, the open air stuff. It's just people from here and all the way across that water. You know, and that's just an ocean of people, and everybody's doing like that, and it's cool. But here you get faces, and you can hear them scream, and this exchange of energy is really special. Cool. So it gives us like everything we put out there, we get it back like double. And that's really cool.
Last question. You mentioned, you know, those big festivals. How do you guys reach the person way at the back that has the crappy seats?
See, that's quite
I
a
try to
big
jump because I'm not that high.
He's not very tall, so he jumps a lot.
Yeah.
I just see if I can spot them from up behind, but I don't know. It's difficult.
Yeah.
And
I guess Michael has a lot to do with it, right?
Michael, of course, being the singer, has to try to reach the guy way down in the back. I don't know if he succeeds or not. Sometimes he do, and sometimes he don't. But I mean, it's very few
It's the audience, I guess.
singers who can actually do that. I can think of maybe Freddie Mercury from Queen. He could do it.
Bruce.
I mean, Bruce
can do it.
Yeah, he can do it, and maybe James Hetfield can do it.
Yeah.
And maybe Bruce Springsteen, and I
Yeah.
guess maybe that's it. Because playing in arena or stadium, it's a whole nother different level. It's a whole nother different challenge.
Yeah, it's all different things that works. You know,
Yeah.
you really, it's the same songs, but you got to do what you do in a totally different way.
Yeah.
But I remember, this tour we did in Europe, we played down in Austria. We had a Swedish band called Entombed.
Nice.
We brought them out. Yeah, they were
brought them out.
awesome guys and great.
Awesome band.
Yeah, awesome band.
Serious band.
But one of them, we played like we had like 11,000 people like on one level. No like arena stuff and no seats or anything. Just 11,000 people indoor. That was huge. It seemed like our stage was suddenly really small in that room, And we played the show, and then one of the guys told me afterwards. He said, I know why you guys are doing so well, It's because you play in front of 11,000 people and you still make the people feel like it's a club show.
Yeah.
I don't know what we do and how we do it, but
Yeah.
that was how he saw it, You still make people think that there are only 500 people in the room.
Maybe it's the punk rock kicking in, like there's no barrier between you guys and the audience.
Could be. Could be. I have no idea. If we did, we might become managers instead. I think.
This would be a crime. I know you guys got to go, but I should ask this question because of the amount of, you guys are fans of music. I get the impression you're super fans of music. Just a couple things you're listening to right now that people should check out.
I'm into a guy called Austin Lucas.
Okay.
That's like, I don't know, acoustic guitar, banjo,
Singer-songwriter.
stuff like that. Saw him on our tour, actually. The day after that show in Austria, I went to see him on Sunday night in Munich, Germany. There was like 50 people there, and he was there with his sister playing banjo.
Cool.
That was awesome. That was like the best musical experience I had last year. And we released an album, recorded an album, and toured everything,
Yeah.
But that was like those 50 people
Cool.
there. That was suddenly I got that like wake up call. Oh, this is what music is about,
Austin Lucas?
So that was really cool. But it's really a totally different thing. I'm listening to that stuff
So we got
right
Thomas.
Well, I guess
now. New stuff? No.
new stuff. No.
Jon got a saying that everything. The
Last great album ever made was "Peace of Mind" by Iron Maiden. After that, nothing.
83 or something,
83.
right? So
After
no
that,
good
nothing.
album has been released
No
since.
good album ever since then.
I'd argue guys on that, but
Oh, okay.
I guess we
Okay,
don't have time.
Ride the Lightning came out a few years later, so I accept.
Refuse, Shape of Punk to Come. Refuse, Shape of Punk to Come.
That's a great album,
a good one.
really, and an interesting band. Actually, I'm also checking out some of the stuff Dennis is doing. He's actually doing a new International Noise Conspiracy. He got his Lost Patrol thing, which was like singer-songwriter, and then he got the Lost Patrol band, which was more of a punk rock band. And now he's doing, I think it's called AC5 or AC4 or something like
Whoa.
that.
Okay.
Which is like more, not Refuse, but more of that like 80s hardcore kind of thing.
Oh yeah, so he's
That's-
screaming again?
Yeah, so that's
Wicked.
actually, that's pretty cool. But yeah,
Nice.
Noise Conspiracy is cool, and then that Lost Patrol thing is really cool as well.
There's a couple. Guys, thank you so much for your time. It's nice to meet you
Sure.
guys. Thank you.
No problem.
ExploreMusic wears English Laundry apparel.